Hi friends, I want to talk to you today about self-sabotage. For those that don't know, my name is Ashley Eve. I'm a certified personal trainer as well as a neuro-linguistic programming coach. I've worked for a very long time in equine assisted therapy programs and also worked as a counselor. So self-sabotage is something that I have spoken to clients about a lot, and it's something that really deserved its own video. So that's what I'm doing with you here today. And I'm sure all of us, anyone, can relate to that feeling of really wanting to do something, really wanting to follow through on an activity, for example, losing weight or starting your own business, but you just keep getting in your own way. And the big thing that we always end up asking ourselves is, well, why? Why and how do I fix it? And those are great questions. And so I'm going to give you some steps on how you can go about this and kind of working through it on your own. So step one, you need to figure out what you really want. It sounds so simple, but if you don't even really know what you're going towards, how are you going to get there? So if you don't know your why, you have no idea how to get from point A to point B. And the same thing goes if you're getting in your car and you're driving somewhere and you have no idea where you're going. Well, you can't program anything in a MapQuest. You need a why, you need a vision, you need something to be working towards so you can get those steps in place. So that's step one, is you have to figure out your why. You have to figure out what just sets a fire in your belly and makes you so excited to get up in the morning, to work on it, to push for it, and gives you motivation on those days where your motivation is lacking just a little bit, because it happens to all of us, friend. Don't worry. Number two is another important step in finding out why you are self-sabotaging. For number two, what I really need you to do is to reflect. Yes, I need you to reflect. And sister, I know this doesn't sound like a lot of fun, having to sit down, reflect, and find out why you're doing something or why you're not doing something. Often we don't want to admit that we are the ones getting in our own way. So this can be a little bit of a tricky part of the process because we might be trying to protect ourselves from the real truth. So I truly want you to spend some time reflecting, and there's a couple things to help you on this path, a couple steps or prompts I can give you to help you figure out why you keep self-sabotaging. Number one, I want you to ask yourself and truly be honest with yourself. Do you really want this thing that you're working towards? Really? Because at the end of the day, if you say you want to lose 50 pounds, but you don't really want to lose 50 pounds, or you kind of sort of maybe want to, should, could, potentially, if you had enough motivation that day, that is not going to get you to losing 50 pounds. Or if you really want to start your own business, but where you are is kind of okay, so you can really stay there a little bit longer and figure it out as you go. That tells me you don't really want that vision. You don't really want your why. It's not setting a fire in you. It's not motivating enough. So if you find yourself saying, well, I kind of sort of want that, or I really want to be able to lose the weight, and it's not making you passionate, it's not driving you, then that could be your problem. It's not that you lack motivation, you're just not motivated because your goals, they don't get you excited. So find your why and then ask yourself, is it exciting enough to push you on the days that you don't want to push? Number two, this one can be tricky to figure out and it will require a little bit of self-development, but is it a self-limiting belief? And when I say that, do you say, well, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve my own business. I'm always a failure. I fail every diet I do. I'm just going to fail this one too. I'm just too stupid to accomplish this. If you have a self-limiting belief, that's a little bit more deep-seated than the first option. So you have to figure out what is holding you back and those negative thought processes that are stopping you from reaching your goals. And that's only something that you can bring out. You have to reflect on that and figuring out what are those beliefs that are holding you back. Oftentimes it's fear of failure, and it takes time to kind of dig through those layers, peel off those layers, the onion, so to speak, and figure out exactly what the root cause is. And sometimes you need therapy, and that's okay. I've been there. I've been to a cognitive behavioral therapist, and sometimes we need help getting to those deep-rooted problems, and there's nothing wrong with that. Step three, maybe the problem is you literally just don't know how to do it. It doesn't always have to be this huge problem rooted in our childhood because of problems with our father or our family life was horrendous. It doesn't always have to be a really deep-seated issue. Sometimes it literally is you want your business so bad. You want to create a life of freedom, time freedom, financial freedom. But shit, I don't know. You don't know how to do it. You don't even know where to start. And you go online and heck, there's a million videos and a million websites telling you how to start your own business. And you just are so overwhelmed you don't know where to start. Or maybe you want to lose weight. But again, you go online and there's 100 different diets. You're being bombarded by every approach under the sun. And you just don't know where to start. And if it's something like this, if it's something as simple as you just don't know how to do it, you don't know where to get started to work towards your goals, I recommend reaching out to a coach. Ask for help. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. It is to see you succeed and give you the tools to be successful. And the quickest way to your dreams is to learn from people that have already done it. Why try to find your way there all by yourself when there are people in this world that have steps and have procedures to get you there faster? So it is no shame in reaching out, hiring a coach, hiring a business coach, joining a team, and getting those steps in place to reach your goals faster. So these are the 3 steps that you need to go through to really reflect on why you keep self-sabotaging. And sometimes it is as simple as that. And if you're wondering a way to tell, if you're still a little bit confused on how to go about navigating this, if you find yourself saying, I don't know why I keep doing this, I just don't know, then it's going to likely be some kind of self-limiting belief that you have to uncover and come to terms with. And that's one way, a trick that you can use to see if it's a self-limiting belief. It's not all the time, but often if you just in desperation say, I just don't know. I keep going in circles and I just don't know. You have to get to the root of self-limiting beliefs or you will continue to go in circles. And at the end of the day, you can hire Tony Robbins himself, sister. And if you aren't putting in the work, if you aren't doing the work on yourself, if you aren't trying to improve yourself and find what the cause is, it's not going to work. You can read all the self-development books. You can fill your shelf with Rachel Hollis and Jensen Caro and read those books 30 times, but it's just going to be self-help that sits on the shelf, so shelf help. Unless you put these things in a practice, you have to spend the time working on yourself and really figuring out what those issues are that are constantly having you restart over and over and over again. And there's no coach in this world that can do that for you. And depending on your perspective, this can be the most freeing part of this, or it can be the most terrifying. I find it freeing that I hold the keys. I hold the power to change my life at any given moment, any given second. I can choose to take an opportunity to change my life, to run after my dreams. That's giving you all the power. That is so much more empowering than knowing that your future is in someone else's hands. You hold your future. But you can also see that as, well, shit, if it's in my hands, then I'm never going to fix this. And that is a choice. So you can choose to see it as empowering.